Welcome to The Explainer. So think about the great mysteries of the world for a second. A massive chunk of them are hidden deep within the Amazon rainforest and its legendary river, right? You've probably seen a million documentaries about the dangerous wildlife, the dense, literally impenetrable jungle, or the remote tribes. But today, we're exploring a completely different kind of mystery. We aren't talking about what's hiding in the Amazon. We're talking about something glaringly missing. It's the Great Amazon Paradox. Why, in our incredibly modern world, are there absolutely no bridges crossing the main Amazon River?
To really wrap our heads around this paradox, we have to ground ourselves in the deep, totally untouched history of this region. 55 million years. That is roughly 5.5 crore years. So we aren't just dealing with a geographic feature here. We are dealing with an ancient, living, breathing entity. The Amazon rainforest is this massive evergreen landscape that's been adapting to its own wild rhythms for 55 million years, basically completely indifferent to human progress.
And then, there's just the sheer colossal scale of the whole thing. It spans 7 million or 70 lakh square kilometers. This isn't just a forest, it is a continental powerhouse. It's so vast that it almost defies human comprehension. When you try to build massive human infrastructure inside a space that covers 7 million square kilometers of dense, heavy rainfall jungle, you are instantly fighting an uphill battle against nature's raw magnitude.
And it doesn't just sit in one place either. The Amazon actually spans across 9 different nations: Brazil, Peru, Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, you name it, starting all the way from the Andes Mountains and flowing east to the Atlantic. But the real kicker here is the hydrological network. Over 1,100 tributaries feed into it. Think about this, 12 of those rivers alone are over 1,500 kilometers long. This is an intensely interconnected, massive water system. You aren't just crossing one river. You are engaging with a continent-wide web of moving water.
Now, before we even talk about crossing this beast, let's clear up a quick misconception about its size. There was actually this rather flawed British report that tried to claim the Amazon was 6,800 kilometers long, which would effectively crown it the longest river in the world. Well, as the old saying goes, love is blind, but the facts tell a different story. The Nile River absolutely keeps the crown for length at 6,650 kilometers. However, the Amazon sits at 6,400 kilometers, making it the undisputed king of volume. By sheer water capacity, nothing else on Earth even comes close.
Which brings us right to our central hook. We build bridges across oceans. So why not the Amazon? I mean, we're living in the era of artificial intelligence and mega engineering. We literally carve highways through solid mountain ranges and connect islands over miles of open sea. Yet this 6,400-kilometer stretch of river remains entirely unconquered by a single bridge. How is that even possible?
Well, solving this geographical mystery basically comes down to 3 main clues: extreme weather variations, unstable soft terrain, and honestly, perhaps the most surprising one, a total lack of human demand. Let's see how all this builds into an almost insurmountable challenge.
So let's get right into Section 1, Nature Against Engineering, the Physical Barriers. We're going to look at why traditional building techniques just totally fail here.
During the dry season, the Amazon is incredibly wide, sure, but it has defined banks. It actually looks manageable. But the rainy season, that changes the game entirely. The water level can shoot up by 30 feet. This seasonal flooding fundamentally alters the landscape. The river doesn't just get deeper, it widens by actual miles. Imagine trying to design a bridge when the river you are crossing might be 3 times wider in 6 months.
And the rising water is really only half the engineering nightmare. The ground itself is basically against you. The shores of the Amazon are made of incredibly soft mud that's constantly eroding and reshaping because of those changing water levels. You've got totally unpredictable shorelines, meaning you don't even know which bank is going to survive the next flood. If you build a bridge, the very ground anchoring it might just wash away. Add to that the constant threat of thick, moving islands of floating grass, vegetation, and debris just crashing into your support pillars. Anchoring a structure becomes a monumental, nearly impossible task.
But honestly, here is the real plot twist. Section 2, The Highway of Water, a Shift in Perspective.
Because we realize this isn't just an engineering impossibility, it's actually about human behavior. It comes down to this one simple fact: the river is the highway. This is a profound shift in perspective. To us, a river is an obstacle, right? You build a bridge over it so your cars can cross, but to the locals, they don't actually want or need massive paved roads. The river itself serves as their deeply ingrained transport network.
Think about this. There are roughly 30 million inhabitants. That's 3 core people living along the Amazon basin across those 9 nations, with about 2/3 residing in Brazil alone. But this massive population is incredibly spread out. Because of that, almost 0 connecting roads exist between these settlements. Instead, boats and ferries entirely dominate travel. People use foot traffic and river navigation, not cars and motorcycles. So building and maintaining a multi-billion-dollar bridge infrastructure just lacks logical demand. Why build a massive bridge when literally nobody drives?
Now, to be completely accurate with our sources here, there is one major exception. Back in 2010, the Rio Negro Bridge was constructed. It is a massive 2-mile-long cable bridge, but pay attention to the location. It connects the Brazilian cities of Manaus and Iranduba. This spans the Rio Negro, which is a major tributary, not the main Amazon River itself, and it was built specifically for immediate city connectivity to aid economic development in that specific local corridor. It wasn't an attempt to create some deep jungle traversal route.
Which actually brings us to a slightly more serious pivot. Section 3, the cost of development, focusing on the environmental stakes.
Because even if we could build a bridge, and even if we decided to force cars into the jungle, we have to look at the severe environmental consequences. Leaving the Amazon unbridged might actually be the single best thing we can do to protect the planet. There is this absolutely staggering statistic we have to consider. The Amazon alone provides 20% of the entire world's clean air. It also contributes 20% of the world's freshwater runoff into the oceans. Researchers constantly warn us that building bridges brings roads, and roads bring intense development, logging, and severe pollution. The very act of modernizing the Amazon to make it easier to cross could directly threaten the ecosystem that provides 1/5 of the Earth's vital life support resources.
So, the total lack of bridges? It's a crazy mix of overwhelming natural obstacles, a lack of local demand, and a stark environmental warning. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Can modern development and pristine nature ever truly coexist? Because as long as the Amazon remains unconquered by concrete and steel, it continues to breathe life into our planet. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep questioning the world around you, and I'll catch you in the next one.